Thanks for checking out this movie review video. So this is for the 2022 film Day Shift, because yes, I'm getting caught up on all these 2022 horror films. This was one that dropped on Netflix, and I'd seen someone saying that it was actually a better watch than they assumed it would end up being, because it feels like very big studio. And I would agree. I mean, I went into it being like, let's see. But yeah, it was relatively fun. It's nothing, mind-blowing, nothing amazing, but it's a good time. And for certain people, it will be a good time as well. This is a no spoiler review, though, since it's a new film. I'll give you a quick synopsis. If you watch the trailer, I'm sure it gives way too much away, though. Directed by J.J. Perry. This is a first-time director, but this individual had done stunts and acting prior, and there are a lot of stunts in the film, so it's very fitting that that's the case for this first-time director. Also, for being a first-time director, man, great job on this one, J.J. Perry. It looks awesome. I mean, the directing is great, the cinematography is great, the lighting's really well done. Like, everything from a visual standpoint is phenomenal. Even, like, the stunt choreography is really cool. That's probably one of the best things, is there are a lot of moments of just, like, mayhem with, like, cool stunt choreography, which apparently this was shot a lot during the pandemic, the thick of it. And they used a bunch of people from Cirque du Soleil performances who were out of work at that point to, fill the role of doing these stunts. And you can see it, and it adds an extra cool element to the film, in my opinion. Very kind of awe-inspiring at moments with what these people can do. This was written by Tice and Shay Hatten, Shay Hatten had also written John Wick 3, John Wick 4, Army of the Dead, which I heard was not very good, didn't see it, Army of Thieves, and Rebel Moon. This one has names in it such as Dave Franco, who does a good job, Snoop Dogg, who does a Snoop Dogg job, which is always fun. I have a soft spot in my heart for Snoop Dogg because, I've always enjoyed his music and him as a person, and my mother loves Snoop Dogg. So the amount of time she talks about him, he's been endeared to me even more for that reason. And I told her maybe she should watch this film just for this. But she doesn't like violence, and there's a lot of violence. And the big name in this, the main character, is Jamie Foxx. And I will say that this is kind of one of those films where, like, it feels a little bit generic in certain ways. And so having a very magnetic actor as the main character helps a lot, and that's Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx's performances are always so good. Like I just said, they're very magnetic. He does an outstanding job in this film. He breathes really cool life into his main character of Bud Jablonski. And he does an amazing job. I mean, he elevates the film to a more enjoyable level than where it would be if it was just kind of like a serviceable actor. So he's great. So quick synopsis, basically, he's a guy who's kind of down on his luck trying to deal with real life problems with his family versus his job as a pool cleaner, but undercover vampire hunter. And so he needs to make some extra money. He joins up with the vampire hunting union. Yes, that's a thing in this film, to make more money. And it's just about, what he does there. Obviously, there's a little more story to that, but I'm not going to talk about that aspect because there should be surprises to this. But it's fun, cool concept. I feel it feels a lot like a Blade movie. So people who are into like Blade films and have been looking for another Blade film, this kind of feels like that. But it's also mixed with like a buddy cop aspect, which and that's Dave Franco's character and Jamie Foxx, which it's good, but like at times it seems a little overkill in my opinion, and you're just kind of like, okay, you're trying to be like too funny, and it's coming off like not funny in that instance. But there are some good humorous moments in this film. It's kept really light, which it makes this interesting dichotomy when there's like vicious violence with plenty of vampire blood flying all over the place. Definitely has a beginning that gets you right into it. They don't really waste much time getting to any sort of interesting action aspect of it. And this is very action driven. So there's plenty of story, but it's a simplistic story, but there is story they work on, but it's very action driven. It's very much about those shots. And going from the directing and cinematography standpoint, which I was talking about being really good, they shoot it in a very cool, engaging way. And that's why I was so interested to know that J.J. Perry, like, this is his first film. He has a bright future. I'm going to say that right now. There's a very well-shot action element to the film, like I've just basically said. He knows how to shoot action scenes, for sure. There is CGI in it. It looks okay. The problem is CGI a lot of the times, or almost all the time, isn't going to look fully real. So in the moments where it's pretty well lit, it's going to look pretty wonky, it's going to look pretty off, and that does happen in this film. But not too much, not too much. The music is a lot of fun. They made a lot of cool music selections for it that help with that kind of upbeat, fun feeling to the film. And that's what it is. Like, it's an upbeat, fun vampire killing flick. Like, if you're looking for that, this is the film for you, 100%. You get a good glimpse into the two lives of the main character, which helps you understand how hard that is for him to maintain. Like, he's trying to kind of reconcile these two versions of his life, and they do a really good job of showing you what that's like, so you can kind of feel it for that character. Plus, you like him as a person, and a lot of that's because of Jamie Foxx's acting. Like I said, he breathes so much life into this character that you just like connect with him so much. Dave Franco's character, not as much, but I think that's because of how the character was written. Just gonna say that. There is some decent humor, like I said. There are some good moments of just fun mayhem. And that goes back to the fight choreography, the stunts in it, the way the camera work works in those instances. Like, there are just stints where you're just like, this is crazy, things are going nuts, and it's just action, mayhem, fun. It's great. Love those moments. Engaging directing, but also really cool camera angles and camera movement. Camera movement in this is pretty consistent, and that's one of the things that really keeps me engaged as a movie watcher, and I really appreciate it. So it's got great style to it. There's something they do with a particular character that feels really odd to me, because it doesn't feel like they use the character enough to really have that have much impact or have it make that all that much sense within the context of like just being in the film, to be honest. And if you've seen the film, you might know what I'm talking about, but we can also talk spoilers in the comments. So if you want to know about this particular thing, we can talk about that in the comments. Go ahead. And also just put your opinions down there of the film. Pretty decent ending. It's not like a great ending or anything, but it's a decent ending. And that just goes to like the story. It feels like we've been there before plenty of times, but is it done in a really fun and upbeat, engaging way? Yeah, no, definitely. So it's nothing groundbreaking, it's nothing amazing, but it's a fun time. I recommend it. It's a longer film. It is almost 2 hours, but it really does keep you engaged. Like I was saying, all those things, the acting, the stunts, the directing, the cinematography, the music, like the humor, like all this stuff comes together in a really nice way to just keep you engaged for the full almost 2 hours, which a lot of the times if a film's that long, especially a horror film, it can feel like a slog. And this really did not feel like a slog. Sure, there are times where it kind of slows down a little bit more than you want, but not too bad. For the most part, it gets moving again. Has that typical buddy cop feel to it, whether you like it or not. I thought it was a little weird. That was one of the elements I felt like we didn't necessarily need in the film, but that is where they kind of mine a lot of the humor as well. So like I said, it's kind of like a buddy cop film mixed with Blade. So if you're looking for that, if that sounds good to you, do it. Yeah, so overall, obviously, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was a pretty good time. Like I said, I want to hear your opinions on it. Put it in the comments. We can do spoilers again. Out of 5 stars with half stars in play, I'm going to give it a very solid 3.5 star rating. Not sure if it would end up making like my best of 2022 list, but I'd put it on a list if I was making it of ones that I think people should experience, And I know that like within the horror community, and this is something that happens with me too, like I kind of forget about Netflix horror for the most part, especially like direct to Netflix horror, like their stuff. Because a lot of times it's not that great, but you get gems, and I think this is one of those gems, so awesome. Anyway, like I said, tell me about what you thought about this one, a sentence or two, why you did or did not like it. Do me a quick favor, hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. It keeps me motivated to keep doing this, and it's your best way to repay me if you like this video or any video I've ever done. Also hit the notification bell button, because then you'll know when I'm putting up new videos, which I'm doing at least 4 a week at this point, and I think that's a good amount. But regardless, thanks for taking your time to watch this video, and until next time, keep it brutal.